Hi, welcome to ecopenny, where we're saving the earth one tip at a time. My 7-year-old iPhone 5 has finally broken and I've got to replace it. Oh no! And I'm going to change to Android. I've been fairly happy with it. So the problem recently, it's just randomly resetting for no reason, and it'll just be in a constant loop. Resets, turns on, resets immediately, turns on, and it really drains the battery almost in one go doing that. So I've had to leave it plugged into the charger for hours, and then it sort of recovers and I can use it again, and then a day or two later it's doing the same thing. And lately it's doing it multiple times a day. It's just unusable. So, and I've been very happy. I've got 7 years out of a phone, and you shouldn't change your phone every 6 months. It's not environmentally sensible because you've got all the raw materials, refined metals, gold, etc. that have gone into making the phone. So I think 7 years for a device is a pretty good lifespan, and I've been really happy with that. So why Android? I've been looking at the iPhones, when a new phone comes out, wow, videos online, Apple website's got all photos and stuff about it. So the iPhone X came out in 2017. I wasn't really happy with that because of the notch at the top, and also the hideous expense. It's about $2,000 Australian, roughly. I thought it's too expensive, and the iPhone XS came out. And it's a similar thing with a notch, really expensive. iPhone 11 came out, similar thing, notch, and it's really expensive. And I thought, right, I've got to bite the bullet and buy another phone. So I thought I'll just have a look at Android and just see what's out there. Has Android improved over the last few years? So I bought my phone a day before the iPhone SE was released. So I had a quick squiz online about the SE, Apple's affordable phone. I didn't really like the look of it because it's basically a rebadged Apple iPhone 8. So essentially I'll be going from an iPhone 5 up to an 8, which is still 2 or so years old. It does have a newer internals, the latest Apple chip and stuff like that. And in Australia, the 256 gig model is about $1,000. So it's still pretty expensive. In America, it's marketed as a $399 US phone, but by the time you translate that to Australia, base model is $750, and it's only 64 gig. Which is the same storage as my old iPhone 5. And I think in 2020 you need 128 gig or more of storage, otherwise the phone's just going to run out. Unless you don't take videos, you don't take photos, you don't have any music on your phone, you have 2 apps loaded in one game or something, which most people don't have. But I think you need 128 gig. So I thought, the iPhone SE, it's good, but it's still too expensive and not wow enough for me. So looking around different Android devices, there's Galaxy, there's Oppo, there's Google Pixel, a few different types. So after a few sleepless nights, I settled on an Oppo Reno2 Z. So I looked at a few reviews, looked at the website, and there's quite a few good features about it, which I quite like. So I'll show you that in a second. So basically, it's an Android phone and it gives me a wow factor. There's still quite a few things about it after I've got it. It's like, wow! And sort of Apple doesn't have that for me anymore. Their phones and products used to be really wow, really good to use and a step above the competition. They used to be expensive, but not really expensive like the new iPhones are. So I know you want to finally see this Oppo, so we'll start with the unboxing. I'll put the time code on the video if you want to skip the unboxing and get straight to the meat of it. So let's start with the unboxing. The box is actually quite elegant, reminiscent of iPhone boxes. So I just want to try and open it without wrecking the box. I have to admit, I love saving the boxes to electronic things like this. So I'm just pulling the plastic packaging off. So we've got the Oppo Reno2 Z white edition, and got the old iPhone 5 just sitting here for prosperity. So they call it the Sky White, not just white, it's Sky White. Nice high quality box. It's included in here. A little bit of cardboard at the bottom of this one. So keep mobiles out of landfills, so take it to a mobile bus muster place to recycle your old phone. I'll still keep the old one as an iPod until it goes completely. So just for music playing. So mobile muster, there's quite a few outlets in Australia. They accept mobile phones, phone batteries, chargers and accessories. mobilemuster.com.au. Bit of warranty information. The main thing, it's got a 2-year warranty. JB HiFi said after up to 14 days, if there's a major problem with the phone, it doesn't turn on or something, you can get a replacement free of charge within that 14 days. A bit about the Oppo specifications. So this one's basically 8 GB of RAM and 128 GB of storage, sky white colour. I'll try and get the phone out of here now. So that's the phone. So it's got a 48 megapixel main camera, it's a quad camera on the back, ultra dark mode, ultra steady video, 6.5 inch or 16.5 centimetre AMOLED panoramic screen, which is a big improvement from the iPhone 5's 4-inch display, 4000 milliamp hour battery, 8 gig of RAM and 128 gig of storage. This one you can put a micro SD card to increase the storage if you want to. So we've got some plastic wrap on here. Take that off. It's quite a beautiful full screen display, only a tiny bezel at the bottom. It's got a pop-up camera. Another bit of protective film to take off. So beautiful back there, it's nice and shiny. Don't know if this will turn on. Hold the power button down for a few seconds. It might be completely flat. So it's turning on. So we'll let that boot up. Bit of a size difference between the old phone and the new phone. Bit of cardboard there. So the good thing about Oppo, they include a nice looking case for the phone. Sort of a nice leatherette sort of feel. Nice pair of headphones. I like it's got a headphone jack, so I use that for my lav mic to record some videos. And it's just handy having a headphone jack. So I'll try and work out how to open these. So it's quite Apple-esque how the packaging is and how everything looks. Quite interesting. It's a nice looking pair of earbuds. It's got a one button control there. I have to figure out how all this works. With your 3.5mm phone jack for the headphones. Got a USB-C charging cable here. Feels nice, good quality. Even got a little silicone cover over it. So there we go. And a charger. It's even got a SIM removal tool too. And I'm pretty impressed with the packaging, quite nice. I just noticed the phone comes with a screen protector already on it, which is quite handy. Quite a gorgeous looking phone actually, if I don't say so. So I'll have to read the instructions. It looks like you've got a volume up and down on the left side. That's a pop-up selfie camera, which I'll show you later. It's got a microphone, just a audio, not a plug, just a little hole for the microphone. It's got another button here and a power button there. Speaker output there, USB-C charging, headphone socket and a microphone just outlet there. Not a plug, just to receive audio from the air. Oppo, designed for Reno, and there's a quad camera setup. LED flash there. It's got a little bump here. That's just, if you put it on a flat surface, it stops the lenses getting scratched. But I'll have it in the case most of the time anyway. So it's quite interesting. The initial setup's quite common sense, choose your country, choose your language and all that sort of thing. And then it says you can import data from another Oppo, another Android or an iPhone. So it'll be interesting to see how this works. So I've just turned the phone off. I'm going to put the old SIM card into this one. So that tray supports 2 SIM cards and a micro SD card to update the storage. So I'm going to try and upload the contacts from the iPhone to iCloud and then get it from iCloud onto the Oppo. So you've got to go to settings, click on your name and then go to iCloud. So I'm just trying to get the iPhone to put its contacts onto iCloud. So you've got to turn the contacts on. I'm just going to turn photos off. So I'm not interested in the photos. I can just manually copy those over USB to the computer. So this is the Reno2 Z in all its glory. So I've got it in that case there. So you saw on the unboxing, it's got a beautiful white backing as well. But it includes this protective case, so you might as well use that. And it's got a screen protector built in as well. This one, it's got a fingerprint reader, so they recommend just to use an Oppo screen protector. So it comes standard with one anyway. So if you do replace the screen protector, make sure it's one sort of recommended by Oppo. Otherwise the fingerprint might not read properly. So a bit of a difference in size compared to the old iPhone 5. So it served me well, and I was thinking about upgrading the last few years, but I just wasn't happy with the Apple products and they were just really expensive. So I've just bitten the bullet and said, I really like this one, I'm just going to go for it. So I have to admit, I did feel a little bit sick going to JB HiFi and buying it. I was a bit nervous and apprehensive, been using Apple for 11 years, and I thought, oh, and I hate change as well, I'm one of those people. But I just thought, basically this is $600 Australian, and the equivalent iPhone 11 Pro Max, same size, it's over $2,000 Australian. So it's not just a little bit of a price difference, it's a massive price difference. And I admit the iPhone 11 Pro Max It's probably a little bit technically better than this phone, but I just think in practical terms, this was way less than half the cost of it. And this gives me more of a wow factor than the Apple phones. So let's go a bit into it. So basically it's got a 6.5 inch screen. Most of the front is a screen. People love about the screen to body ratio. It's got a tiny thin bezel at the bottom and practically no bezel at the top. So that's the first thing. I really like the full screen display. Doesn't have a notch at the top. We'll get to the selfie camera later if you sort of say, well, if there's no notch, how can you take selfies? And I really like the elegance. It's got a fingerprint reader, so if you jiggle it a bit, you might be able to see it's got a fingerprint on the screen there, so it tells you where to put your thumbprint or your fingerprint. So it's made for one fingerprint or one thumbprint, so you've got to, when you're setting it up, work out which finger you want to use. I'm right-handed, so I hold it like this, so they recommend to sort of have your thumb like that to unlock it. But if you want to unlock it with a finger like that, you can do whatever. So you set this up when the phone's setting up. It's quite easy to do, just follow the on-screen instructions. So I like the elegance of that fingerprint reader behind the screen without a separate physical home button or anything like that. So let's get to unlock it. So it's quite simple. You just put your thumb on, unlocks, there you go. This does have face detection with the selfie camera. I haven't set that up. With Apple, I wasn't really keen on face detection. There's a lot of people saying it doesn't work properly if you've got a hat on, different hairstyle, mask on, especially with COVID-19, it doesn't work. And I'd just rather the simplicity of a thumbprint to unlock it. You don't have to have the phone facing you. You can be in bed, reach out of bed and just quickly unlock it without looking at the phone. So I just feel it's more practical, and it's just a bit of a wow factor for me, having that fingerprint, especially going from an iPhone 5 with no fingerprint reader. But I just like the idea, the simplicity of just doing that to unlock it. So first thing, I think it's great value, 599 Australian, and I just feel it's the same size as the iPhone 11 Pro Max. Nice bright AMOLED screen. This is the, as I said in the unboxing, 8 gig of RAM and 128 gig of storage. This one, the advantage of this over the iPhones, you can upgrade the storage. So you can get an SD card and pop it into the phone. So I probably will put a 128 gig SD card at some stage into this to jack it up to 256 gig of storage. So I'm basically just going to go through the advantages of why I picked this phone. Especially I'm an Apple user for 11 years and hate change. So nice, bright, clear screen. Practically the whole front's a screen. You've got your inbuilt fingerprint sensor under the screen, and it's got that micro SD slot. Got a headphone jack. I just really like having the headphone jack. You can charge it and listen to music. You can connect a headphone to headphone cable and connect it to an aux input in an amp or a car. It's just more practical, I find. So I just like the idea it's got a headphone socket. Some of my video recordings, I connect my lav mic to that socket as well and use this as a portable voice recorder. So a lot of my intros and things, I'm recording the audio onto the phone and the video with the camera. So I like how it's got the same 3.5mm headphone jack as the old iPhone 5 had. I love the pop-up selfie camera. So people have been straining to know, how can you have a selfie camera without a notch? So if I go to the camera, and again, this is a wow factor for me. Just listen to this. I'm going to hit the selfie button and watch the top of the phone. It's just so cute. You can set it to make a sound, not make a sound, and you can set it to flash when it comes in and out. But for me, I just feel that's a wow factor for me. One, the wow factor of it popping out, and two, the wow factor you don't have that notch. It does have a mechanism that's motorised going in and out. Put him back in. So I don't know how long this is going to last for. So I'll try not to take hundreds of selfies each day, just occasional selfie. And if you're using this for face unlock, obviously that will pop out every time you want to unlock the phone, and I don't like face unlock anyway, and I think having that popping out every time you unlock the phone possibly will wear it out too, so I'm sticking with the fingerprint unlock. So I love that pop-up selfie. So speaking of the camera, I'll show you some photos and videos with the inbuilt camera. This is a selfie cam, so it's quite impressive actually. We'll go outside and take some photos and just show you what it's like. Frames per second. This is 60 frames per second, both of them 1080p. Another thing I love with this Android phone, you can plug the included headphones into it and use it as an FM radio, so that doesn't use data. The headphones act as an aerial and you can listen to the radio with the headphones, or you can have the sound coming through here. So I won't do it because copyright, if there's a song playing on the radio, copyright will be hit from YouTube. So you can hit this top right icon to have headphone sound or the phone speaker sound. But I just find it's just a cute, nifty feature. You're out of data, you want to listen to some music or something and you just feel like having FM radio. It's just another option inbuilt into the phone. So it's another thing iPhones don't have, that radio feature. This does have a PIN code, so I'll just show you. So if you take a few attempts to unlock it, whatever reason, so if for some reason your fingers aren't working, you've got that option. I won't show you my code. You've got that option to put that PIN number in there as well. With the screen on maximum brightness and bright sunlight, it's still quite readable, although this will drain your battery more. I'll put the specs in. It's basically a high definition display, like coming from an iPhone 5, sort of anything is better than a 4-inch display on the iPhone 5. But, I'm really impressed with the display on this. I like how it's got USB-C charging. It's not a proprietary cable, and I just feel the USB-C plug is a bit more solid than the iPhone's lightning cable. What I like about the headphones included, they have a little one-button remote on the headphones. So if you're playing music, you press the button to play the music, press it again to pause it, double-click to go to the next song, or triple-click to go to the beginning of the song or the previous song. So I thought that's quite a cute feature too. I'm not sure if the latest iPhones have that or not, but I just thought that was a cool feature. Another thing I like about this Oppo, again I don't know if the latest iPhones have this, you can just scroll from the right and it pops up a screen recorder. You can do a screenshot, you can also do a screen recording of the actual screen, save it onto the phone and put that onto your computer. So you'll see a few of these screen recordings on this video. So I thought it's a nice feature. How do I feel about any cons with this phone? There's quite a few pros, so I really like it. So I'll go through a few cons about it. First thing, it's not certified to be waterproof. The Apple iPhones are, but I just feel even if I had an iPhone, I would still put it in a waterproof case if I was going on a boat or something like that. Anyway, I wouldn't quite trust the manufacturer's claims, no, it's waterproof. What if you get it wet and it gets damaged and you've got to fight with them for a warranty claim? So that wasn't a deal breaker. It would be nice if this was waterproof, but I can live with it. I'm happy to put it in a waterproof case if I'm taking it in a wet environment. This doesn't have wireless charging, but $600 price point, I wasn't too upset about that. And even with the iPhones, you've got to pay $200 for a wireless charger for it anyway. So it's not like it includes all that stuff. So I'm happy charging it with a USB-C socket. A little bit of a con, the sleep button's here on the right side. It's directly opposite to the volume down button there. So I just have to learn to be careful. Because it's a bigger phone, often you want to grab it on both sides and then press the button like that to put it to sleep. So I've been grabbing it sort of like that a few times, and that does a screenshot if you press those two buttons together, so it's not a disaster. Just go to your photos and delete it. But I've sort of learnt to hold it down a bit and then press the button. It's just a minor little gripe. I can quite live with that. Little bit of a gripe, it's got this app called Pocket News, which you can't delete from the main screens. But similar thing of Apple, there's quite a few apps on the iPhone which you can't delete. You're stuck with them, so that's not a major hang up for me. This does come with the Oppo music player. I'll go to the drawer, which I've still got on here. I just found that the music player is basically crap, because if you do a playlist, it basically puts the songs in alphabetical order if you do a new playlist, and that was just absolutely useless for me. But on the phone, you've got the Google Play Music app, which is included on the phone as well, and with that you can do your proper playlists. You can have all the songs in the correct order. You can also rearrange the songs, press that little bar there and rearrange the songs. So now I've buggered it up, I'll have to check what order that was supposed to be in. So the Google Play Music app is a lot better for music, and that was included on the phone anyway, so it's not a major gripe. So I just recommend if you get an Oppo, don't use their standard music app, use the Google one. So basically, there's a few little cons about it. I'm not really that upset, especially it's so much less expensive than the iPhone equivalent. So that's just some things about the phone. The back of it's got a quad camera setup, as I said in the unboxing. It's got a little bump here which protects the lenses if you put it flat on something without a case, and it's got your flash there, or you can use it as a torchlight as well. So I just feel it's a really nice package. So that's why I basically picked the Oppo Reno2 Z, and just going to say I'm not sponsored by Oppo, paid for it with my own money, and I've been really happy with it. So that's just some features of the actual Oppo phone. I'll just go through some Android sort of thoughts. And don't forget, I'm an iPhone user. I haven't really used Android at all on a phone. So I'm coming from an iPhone perspective, so I really want good quality software, because I'm used to that with Apple. So I'll just go through a few things with the Oppo Android. So this is called ColorOS. It's an Android operating system, but it's Oppo's version of it. So some people might not like the Oppo's version because it's not a native exact version of Android. But as I said, I haven't really used Android before. I don't know any different anyway. But looking at it and using it, I'm really happy with Oppo's ColorOS. So this is version 6. There's a version 7 coming out soon. So my first impression with the OS, it's very similar to what I've been used to with Apple. These main screens are customizable. if you want to go to all the apps that are on the phone, use what's called drawer. Pull up the drawer. So there's all the apps that are on the phone, and you basically just hold them down, drag it to the right, and then you can drag the app to your normal screens on here, like you do with an iPhone. So I just find it's a very clean interface. Now you can change the background colour and all that sort of thing. So using it, I would say it's virtually identical to using an iPhone. Don't forget, I'm used to iPhone's ease of use. So how it looks, even the camera, just looks almost identical to what Apple's camera looks like. So that sort of similarity made me sort of get used to the phone fairly quick. It actually took me 2 days to set it up and get used to it. This is day 5 now I'm filming, and basically 99.9% used to it already. And this is for someone that hates change, hates changing things. So I just found the ColorOS basically is really good. Another thing I like about Android, you've got your numbers on the top row of the keyboard. So if you're typing in something, let's do cat videos, and you want to do a number, you just want a number 2, just hold down the W for a second, pop, 2 comes up. I really like that feature to get the numbers. You can do it on this one, and Apple's version, you sort of hit the number key and then do your numbers. But I just like that idea of just holding down the top letters to get a number. So that's another way up factor for me that I sort of really like about Android. Even quitting apps like this, it's similar to an iPhone. I like how the clock app shows the correct time like an Apple iPhone, so the hour hand's the thicker white one and the red one's the minute hand, so it's 11:45. So I like that feature, how Android's copied that part of Apple. So again, it makes me more comfortable and more familiar changing to Android. It sort of helps me settle down. It's just a phone, but it's nice to have an experience similar to what I'm used to. It makes me a bit more comfortable. Another thing I like about Android, you're not stuck with iTunes to put music on. Basically, with the phone, connect it to the computer like a hard disk and just copy your music to the music folder. It's just intuitive and quite easy. Apple, you've got to go through iTunes, and sometimes it's a pain getting iTunes to work. Sometimes you drag the music and it doesn't copy for some reason, and it's just, I found the last few years it just sometimes just gets annoying. Sometimes I just wish I could just copy it to the phone like you're copying from hard disk to hard disk. So that's a good thing about Android. Another good thing about this OS, when you plug the headphones in, you can set it to auto answer. So if the phone rings, you've got the headphones on, wait a few seconds and just start talking. That's a feature that I wish the iPhones have. They've never had that. That's a feature that my very old Nokia in the late 90s, early 2000s had that feature. So I sort of missed that in the iPhone. I was really happy that this has got the auto answer feature. So if you're skiing or something like that, you can have the headphones plugged in. You're on a chairlift, phone rings, phone's tucked away in the inside pocket. It'll just answer for you and you start talking. It's quite a cool feature. So I'm just glad that's included in here as well. So it's another thing that makes this better than an iPhone. Any cons with the ColorOS? So don't forget, I'm coming from an Apple iPhone point of view. One thing I had to do was download all my apps again, because the Apple apps that I had are not usable on Android. So I had to re-download Messenger, Outlook, WhatsApp, banking, all those different apps. But I think in Android's defense, if I got a brand new iPhone, I'd have to re-download all the apps anyway, because the apps that were on my iPhone 5, not all of them were updated. So you'd have to update all the apps anyway. So that's just a minor gripe. I have to sit there and download all the apps. So you do that on the phone, go to the Play Store, similar to Apple, type in what you want and download. It's quite intuitive, so that wasn't a major problem. I had to download all my apps. Some of the iPhone apps are available on Android, and others you've just got to get an equivalent app. So my Spirit Level app is just different to the Apple one on the iPhone that I had, but that's fine. So some like the iFungi AU are exactly the same as the Apple version. They make both an Android and Apple version. So it's just a minor little thing I had to muck around downloading apps, but it wasn't a major sort of problem. I've said before, the clock shows at current time like the iPhones do. The calendar app just shows 31st as a date. So with the Apple iPhone, the calendar icon shows you today's date. So again, it's not a major quibble. Would have been really over the moon if the Android showed you today's date. It gives you the date on the clock thing at the top anyway, but it's just a little minor quibble. Android users probably wouldn't know what I'm talking about because they're coming from an iPhone perspective. I can live with the calendar saying 31st all the time. I can live with that. It's not a major problem. And it did take me 2 or 3 days to sort of get used to doing different things, different settings and things like that with the ColorOS. But I think even if I got an iPhone 11 from an iPhone 5, I probably still have to learn different things. So iOS on the iPhone 11 would be different to my 7-year-old iPhone anyway, so I didn't mind spending some days just getting familiar with it. Most of the Android sort of stuff I just figured out for myself, and the stuff that I couldn't work out I just googled it. So for someone that hates change, I sort of found it quite comfortable to actually switch. It's day 5 and I'm 99.9% comfortable with Android now. I never thought it would be that quick. I thought, no, God, it's going to take months to get used to it. But after a few days, pretty much used to it, which is really good. So I'll just go through a few things about the setup with the Oppo. That's the biggest thing that I was worried about switching to Android is, how long is it going to take to set it up, going from iPhone to Android. If you're going from a newer iPhone, which is backed up to the iCloud, I think it'll be a lot easier. But it took me about 2 days because I didn't have a full iCloud backup. And if I did that, it would take days to upload the 64 gig on the old phone to iCloud, I reckon. It's just too much mucking around. The initial setup was really good with the Oppo. It was half charged out of the box, and it had on-screen instructions, choosing your language and all that sort of stuff. So all that sort of stuff was quite easy. And then I turned it off, put my SIM card in it, and turned it back on again when it needed sort of network information and stuff like that. So that first part was quite easy. Fingerprint reading, you basically follow the on-screen instructions and just keep putting your finger or your thumb on there. It'll tell you to move your thumb a bit. So it took about a minute or 2 to set that up. That was quite easy. So locating the folders on the Oppo where everything is was quite easy. It didn't take me too long, just had to sort of sit there and figure it out. So I'll show you on the computer. So basically the photos and the videos that you take on the phone are in the DCIM camera folder. Any screenshots or screen video recordings are in the DCIM screenshots folder, quite intuitive. If you do screen recordings with Netflix playing and stuff, apparently it blocks it out, so you can only do screen recordings of the actual phone itself, sort of thing. So just got to be careful of that, not to have copyright videos playing while you're doing screen recording. That's not a problem with me. The music is in the music folder, quite intuitive. And the internal or external microphone audio recordings are in the recordings folder, so it's quite easy to set up. with my iPhone 5, when you connect it to a computer, you can only access the photo folder with the photos and videos, and that's it. You can't access anything on the phone, so it's a bit of a pain in the backside sometimes. So in the Play Music app that is included on the phone, not the Oppo app, the Google one, it's quite easy to set up some playlists for double albums and triple albums, so it plays the whole lot in one go. And you can do those on the phone, so it's quite intuitive. I hate changing. It didn't take me long at all to figure all that out, so that was sort of quite easy to do. With the phone schedules, what I did is basically from today's date onwards, or the day I got it onwards, I just got the old phone and just typed in the future schedule items directly into the Oppo, because I don't have schedules synced with Google and all that sort of stuff. Later I think I'll set that up. So it wasn't too much of a problem because a lot of my events were cancelled anyway because of COVID, so it only took half an hour or something at the most to sit there and type in future events. So luckily the iPhone wasn't kaput totally. I'll talk about contacts in a second, but when I was doing the contacts it reset, so I had to plug it into charge and leave it for a few hours to recover itself. So I'd advise to sort of get a new phone before the old phone kaputs completely. If you've got to manually look at information on it and type it into a new device. So I did all those schedules, and the Google Calendar app on the Oppo is quite easy to use, very similar to an iPhone again. So I'll show you some screenshots of that as well. So got the music copied across to the music folder. I could have put photos into the DCIM folder, but I thought I can't be bothered. Most of the photos on the old phone were either uploaded to Facebook already. There weren't any serious photos taken on it that I wanted to keep anyway, so serious photos were taken on normal cameras and put onto the phone computer to save. So that's done. So I copied all the music to the music folder. Took a while, but quite easy to do, drag and drop, and I think I went and had lunch while I was copying. So did all my music, did all the schedules. The contacts were the hardest thing. Again, I tried to use iCloud to get the contacts from the old phone into iCloud. Then the Oppo can access that. But I just found that the iPhone wanted to copy everything to the iCloud, maybe because I've never uploaded it before. So it's going to use a lot of data, use a lot of time, and in the end I just gave up. And I thought I'll start typing the contacts directly into the phone, but I did the A's and B's and got a bit sick of that. So what I eventually did was went to Google Contacts on the computer, logged into my Gmail account. Again, I've never used that before, and figured all that out. So I typed all the contacts directly from the iPhone into the Google Contacts on the computer. It was a bit easier because I could touch type, and also any contacts that were obsolete or people I no longer associate with or associated years ago with, I didn't put them all in, so I ended up cutting the iPhone 700 contacts down to about 300. So it was a good sort out of contacts as well, getting a new phone. So it took me a while to type them all into the Google Contacts, and then that synced with the phone automatically. If it didn't, you could save those contacts to a CSV file, email that to yourself, open up the email in Outlook on the phone, and then it will say, do you want to import those contacts, and just go yes. So there was a manual way of doing it, but credit to Google, it ended up just syncing to the phone because the phone is already logged into my Gmail account. I think with an Android, once you've logged it into your Gmail, you can't unlog it, like it's permanently logged in. So in this case it helped. So I did all the contacts, so that was another thing done. So basically it took about 2 days to get the contacts and the music, schedule items and the apps all downloaded onto the phone. So I have to admit, I was impressed with that. I thought, oh, it's going to take at least a week, maybe a month to get everything set up. But really, the bare bones took about 2 days to set up. And as I said, this is day 5, and pretty much 99.9% used to the new phone already. And this is from someone that hates change. It's hard to, I would have actually, if the iPhone was a little bit dearer than the Oppo, I probably would have gone with a new iPhone, but it's just because the price differential was just so huge. And I just said, stuff it, I'm making the switch. So I'm really pleased I went with the Oppo. Really happy with it. So I'd recommend to get one, and recommend to switch if you're sick of the expensive iPhones or whatever. Make the switch to Android. No, I probably won't go back. So I just feel it's just got more. It's obviously less expensive, much less expensive, but it also got the wow features of the pop-up selfie cam, on-screen fingerprint reader, full bezel-less display. And I just feel it's basically almost identical to using an iPhone anyway. So yeah, I've been really happy with my Oppo. In hindsight, I probably would have, if I could send a message back in time, to tell myself just to do it. I was really apprehensive about changing from iPhone to Android. There's a lot of people in the iPhone camp or in the Android camp, but scared of changing. So I think if I can change from iPhone to Android, anyone can. So yeah, basically I've made the switch and I've been really happy. So hopefully it gives you a bit of a rundown of the Oppo Reno2 Z, what features it has. And like the video, subscribe to ecopenny and click the bell. Feel free to put some comments down below. Have you changed to Android? Have you always been to Android? Are you sticking with an iPhone and paying huge premium to stay with an iPhone? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you next time.